Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing 5 looks using the Nomad Palette by Juvia's. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you like these types of videos. So to begin, look number 1 is nice and golden, pretty simple look. So here is the palette. I absolutely love it. Looks like fall in a palette. So using the top left neutrally yellow color, I'm using a pretty big brush. This one, I'm not sure where even this is from. Got it in a BoxyCharm, maybe Luxie is the brand. But just using that and then going down to the more, warm kind of orangey shade next, putting that along the crease as well. And obviously I do both eyes. And then this center shade is probably the most beautiful center shade ever. I love it. I show it to you so many times in this video because I'm just amazed by it. And I just tap that on directly with my finger. I do this with every metallic, regardless of the brand. I never use a brush. So just putting that all over the lid. And I always have this problem that I put more on the left. But what am I gonna do? Now I'm using this flat brush from the Naked palette, and I'm going into the deep brown, which is in the bottom. And I'm going to use this as liner, which I usually never do, but I did it with this one and I liked it. Just running that right along the lash line, not really winging it out, but maybe just a tiny bit of an extension. And it worked really well as a liner, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. And then putting a little bit on the lower lash line. I only put about a quarter of the way. Then of course what you do to one eye, you must do to the other. And that's it. I'm just letting you know I finish it with Roller Lash and Thrive Cosmetics. This is me remembering that Roller Lash is so good. So I have that on both. And then for for the lower rim, I'm going to use the Rimmel light eyeliner. I love this. I use this often, especially when I'm feeling sleepy. I hope you can still get it. And it's just in the color Nude. And I'm going to use the NARS kind of lip pencil, chubby lip crayon, I guess it's called. And it's in the color Dolce Vita, which is almost my lip color, just a little bit rosier. I love it. I used a little chapstick with it. And there you go. Lots of lashes, a pretty light look. And there's look number 1. So for look number 2, for Smoke, I went into the greens in this palette, which I absolutely love, and I'm matching my earrings. So I pretend that this is only going to be the shade that I use, but I don't totally. But anyway, this is the shimmery dark greenish / brown, and I use this all over the lid in a one shadow look, but I have a couple helping stars here. But I just use a big brush first to blend this color in the crease of both eyes. I spend some time doing this because this is where you're going to get the definition of the look, and also it helps you see different dimensions of this eyeshadow. So when you blend it with a brush, a lot of the shimmer goes away and you're left with the pigment. And then eventually I will apply it with my finger and you get more of the shimmer on the lid. So this look, this one shadow look, ends up looking much more complicated than it is. So I just pat it on. I keep patting eyeshadow on with my middle finger. I apologize. I'm not trying to be fresh with you. And I love how this looks. It's such an interesting color because it's green, but it's brown, but it's smoky. I don't really know. And then I'm going to use the lightest shade in the palette, which has a little bit of sparkle, just very little. And I'm using that in the inner corner, just for a little bit of inner corner highlight. And I decided to do a tiny bit of yellow over that. You could hardly see it on camera, but in person it actually showed up really well. I think just the lights that I have on me when I am filming. And the lights are really coming from my mirror. I have a mirror that has little bulbs all around it, and then 2 desk lights. And then I go back into the shade I was using, and I'm just working it on the lower lash line. I don't use too much of it because I am going to work like this. So then I'm going to use Roller Lash and Thrive Cosmetics again. Love this combination. And then, sorry for the noise. And then on the lips, I think, let's see. There you go, you can see the yellow now. Pretty cool, huh? I love it. And then on the lips, I use one of my favorite lipsticks from MAC. It's called Cream in Your Coffee. Absolutely love it. All right, Light Through the Trees. This one's fun. So starting again with that orangey kind of transition shade. I feel like there's 2 transition shades for me. Actually a third, but I don't use that one too much. But anyway, putting this all over the lid, all in the crease, I'm sorry, and in the transition. Just gives my other shadow something to work with, and it's also the shade you see the most. Now this is me trying to decide which color will I use, and I end up using most of them. So this is like this is the bottom shade, and it's like a yellow, kind of a yellow pukey brown, as Jaclyn Hill would call it. And I'm putting that all in my crease. Sorry for my voice. It's really early on Sunday morning right now, and I probably should have spoken to someone before I started filming. But anyway, I'm working that all, again, in the crease and then down on the outer edge of the eye. Did you see the color is such an interesting color? I think it's beautiful. Like I don't know, like moss that has decayed. So just blending that out with a plain shadow. Now you will see me throughout this video just randomly smiling. I am listening to an awesome book called Beach Read. Alright, now going into the truest green in the palette, which again is a forest green. It's such a beautiful matte. And I'm working this in the outer corner. Back to Beach Read. It is such a funny, great romance. I highly suggest you read it or listen to it. I literally would laugh out loud on the way to work and while doing my makeup. So just working this in the outer crease, and then also a little bit in the crease, and then again, blending, blending, blending till your hands hurt. Now I could stop there, but you know I won't. So now I'm going to use a little bit of shimmer. I was debating whether to use yellow, but I decided to use a couple of them. So I first started with the color I actually used in the last video, that shimmering kind of deep, deep, deep green. So I put that on the outer edge, and then I go in with the light color from the center of the palette on the inner edge of the eye, which is, again, such a beautiful highlight color. You see how great it is? Absolutely love it. Put that on both eyes. I'm enjoying it. And so now I'm going to take this Smashbox smudger brush, and again going into that green and working that on the bottom. I think, oh boy, my kids are really playing with the dog right now. Sorry about that. And then I just smudged it a little bit on the top just so I didn't lose any of the green color. You'll see me just blend a little bit more. And then back into the highlight shade, and I'll just put this on my inner corner and the bottom part of my inner rim. So there you go. I love this one. Now for mascara and liner, I'm going to use Stila Stay All Day Black Liner, and then the ColourPop Black Mascara, and the Thrive Cosmetics at the bottom. Then for lips, this is a Revlon Stay Matte. I love these. They smell like fake candy, but I still love them. The color that I'm using here is called Forever. I love it. Lasts pretty well on me, and they wear well. And then I just blot it because I'm going to be wearing a mask, so I don't want it to be like too much. And then I thought the color faded a bit, so then you'll see me line with the Milani liner in the color Most Natural. And it just gives me a little bit of definition. There we have the mandatory hair flip, and then a close-up. I love this look. Next one's called Good Morning Sunshine. So this will be my brightest look, especially because of the lipstick. So again, I'm starting with that neutral, it's not neutral, warm orangey eyeshadow, which now you've seen me blend into my crease several times, but let's pretend this is a new thing. And just putting it back and forth. Look at those cute octagon earrings. I got them from Target. I love them. They're super, super lightweight. So if you can't handle heavy earrings, but you want something larger, they were so inexpensive. They came in a pack of 3. Highly recommend. So just working this. And this I use a little bit more, like I built it up a little bit more. It's not just functioning as a transition for me this time. It's really going to be part of the look. Then I'm going to go into the brown and just smoke that out a little bit. I found this brown it's such an interesting color because it's definitely a deep brown, but there's quite a bit of neutral or even coolness in it. It's like a little bit gray. And I feel like in this look particularly, you can see that kind of grayish color to this brown. With the color palette, I expected it a little bit more like warm brown, but I really like it. Here I'm just speeding up the process. And this time I work it a little bit across my transition, or my crease, kind of like I'm doing a halo eye. I'm not doing a halo eye, but you see me laughing. That's the book. Such a good book. So again, working it towards the lash line, in the outer corner, and then a bit in the crease. And that's the Real Techniques Instapop brush. And then I got a blend because you'll see it looks a little bit patchy just the way I was blending it before. So just a little blend with my typical Morphe fluffy brush. And now it's time for the brightness using the yellow. The yellow in here is a bright yellow with a bunch of sparkle in it. It's super fun. The sparkle, you definitely can see it in a swatch. I feel like on the lid, it just looks like more pigment. It reminds me of the Tati Beauty, I don't know what she calls it, the second row. There's the mattes and then the next one. So this one's really fun. It's such a bright yellow. It definitely is yellow. I know here it looks a little bit muted, but again, in real life, natural light, it is yellow. And then going back into that center shade, just for the inner corner, and again, the bottom part of my lash line, of the lower lash line. Can you hear the children? They're playing nicely now. And then with a small brush, I have no idea what I'm saying there. But anyway, with a small brush, I go back into that orange shade just to work on my lower lash line. And I run it pretty well across the bottom. I'm connecting it to the shadow at the top, and that's one strategy that I think works well. So you'll see me work in that outer edge. And then a little bit of the brown just to kind of balance it out. Again, I start at the end of my eye, the very corner of my eye, and I'm just putting a tiny bit. I don't even run this very far. It provides some definition without closing my eye off. And then I'm going to use my favorite brush. Sorry, again, my favorite brush from Beauty Blender. It's an angled wing brush and the Bobbi Brown gel liner. And then back to my two mascaras. And this is a tiny MAC Cosmetics lipstick in Chili. I love it, but look at how bright it is. It's definitely orange. I love it. And now for the last look. This one makes me laugh because this is what I call neutral, and there's like 17 steps. But anyway, so I keep showing you the palette like I haven't been using it this whole time, but I never know which is my first look. So I'm starting with the the lightest transition color. Working that in the lid, you hardly see it. It's such a light color under these lights that I have. I think it is something you see in real life, but it's definitely a light color. Like light on my skin tone, I mean. And then I'm now going to go into that orange shade. Not really orange, warm brown, orangey brown. And this time I'm putting that one along the crease and a little bit on the lash line. And I'm using it much more lightly, like with a fewer dips into the pan, because I'm not looking to make it as orange as I did in the last look. Just providing a little bit of definition for my eye. So I do really like, you can build these colors up or use a lighter hand and then get some different shades out of them. Maybe not shades, but intensities. And I'm focusing most of that color on the left. And then using my small smudger brush, I'm going to go on the bottom lash line. And put that right across. And if you notice, I'm keeping my placement overall very similar with each of these looks. It's just what I naturally do with my eye shape. I think once you find something that works, you just keep it going. So although I love, cut creases and halo eyes, I don't use them often. Alright, now my fave, and of course I put it on my middle finger again, sorry. But the inner shade, the center shade all over the lid. I go pretty far out to the outside as well. And then I'm using a tiny little detail brush back into that shade, and I'll do the inner corner and the bottom ridge of the eye. I come up with weird names. Bottom ridge. What is the bottom ridge here? I mean the lower lash line. Get it together, Marilee. Too tired. I've heard that you should use highlight in your inner corner, like the highlighter you use on your face. I gotta try that. I like it. So going back to that. Oh, no, this is the very lightest shade. I'm gonna do this on under my eyebrows. I never do this. It's just not something I remember to do. But remember how I said this is like a nice neutral, easy look? I'm on my fifth shadow here. So I'm using the brown as a liner like I did in the first look. I would say that this look and the first look are probably the most similar. But I do a little more on the outer corner on this one. I think this look looks most different because of the lip that I end up using. And that's another thing I would tell you, it's not always the eyeshadow that needs to be different, although I love using different eyeshadow colors and all of that every day. But sometimes it's just a matter of what I end up wearing on my lips that really makes a difference of how a ends up coming together. So I'm going to use the brown tattoo liner from Kat Von D. I've had this one for so long. I love it. And then this is the Mr. Bing liner that Kathleen Lights created from ColourPop, and the ColourPop mascara and the Thrive Cosmetics. Okay, now I'm using the I think this is Walk of Shame, or is this? Hang on. That's the Pillow Talk liner. I'm sorry, I thought it was the Walk of Shame liner. I think it's Pillow Talk. Yeah. What do I think here? Yep, that's definitely the Pillow Talk liner. Alright, so I line my lips completely with the Pillow Talk liner. It's nice, it's neutral, but we're going to amp it up today. So I'm using this Physicians Formula Healthy Lip, and this one's called Nutritious, and then I end up topping it with All Natural Nude. And I really love that combination. It stayed really well under a mask. So there you go, I'm all done. Hope everyone has a great day. Bye-bye.